14. And here we will be working on our 4s. So here, just like we've done in the past, you do not have to fill all of these in. You only fill in the ones that have the underline on it, okay? That way you can start skip counting, which is the purpose of this. So 4, 8, 12, we're counting by 4s here, okay? And then when you come down here, you're doing the same thing. You're counting by 4s, and even on number 4 at the top, you're counting by 4s, and at the bottom, you're just counting by 5s. So that's what we're doing on the first page. Then when we come over here and skip over to, move on over to the next page, we have, it says skip count by 4 to find the number of quarts in all. So you can skip count by 4, or you can just count how many there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's 4 times 8, 4 times 8, which is 32. But it's also good to know the reason they're having us skip count by 4, it says to find the number of quarts in all, because there's 4 quarts in a gallon. Okay, so 4 quarts in a gallon, and that's why we're skip counting, because we're saying, okay, 4 quarts in here, 4 quarts in this gallon, 4 quarts in the other, 4 quarts in this one. And you can just also just write out the multiplication problem. There's 8 gallons and there's 4 quarts in each, so we get 32. Okay. Number 6 says, Mom bought 4 pairs of socks for each of her 3 children. How many socks did she buy? Okay, so she bought 4 pairs for each. So 4 pairs for each, and there were 3 of them. Okay, then that is 4 times 3, which is 12. So that's how many socks she bought in all. Okay, then we move on to number 7. Each patio table by the pool was surrounded by 4 chairs. How many people could be seated at 9 tables? So each table had 4 chairs, and there were 9 tables. Okay, and when we do our 9s, remember, whatever we're multiplying by 9, 1 less is the first number. The other number is the number that you add to the first to get 9. 3 plus 6 equals 9, so it's 36. Okay, and then so 36 people could sit down at the tables. Okay, and then we have Tom bought 5 gallons of milk in quart jugs. How many jugs of milk did he bring home? So if you had 5 gallons and we want to see how many quarts, well, we know that 1 gallon equals 4 quarts, so we have to multiply by 4. Okay, and then we get 20 quart jugs, okay, of milk. Okay, then we'll move on here, and again they have the skip counting, which is really great because that's how you get those skills built up. And then the bottom is the only one that's different. Yeah, because this one's 4s, these are 4s as well, and then the bottom over here of number 4 will be skip counting by 9s. Okay. Okay, then over here we have 15b. Okay, and again it says skip count by 4. We can skip count by 4, okay, or we can just count how many. Okay, if we skip count by 4, it's 4, 8, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, and 44. Wait, did I do that right? I don't know. Maybe I didn't. But, but if we just count how many, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 at the bottom, that's 10. So I think I did skip 1. But there's 10, so it's 4, because there's 4 quarts to each gallon, right? There's 4, and then there are 10 gallons, so we would get our 40. But to just skip count, it would be 4. Okay, I think I went 416 instead of 48. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. There we go. That's more like it. So that's our skip counting that we would do here to figure it out. But you could just count them all too and just multiply by 4. So there's 10 of these gallons. We multiply by 4 and it's 40. Okay. Okay. Next one says, how many tires are needed to get 4 cars ready to drive? Okay, so we have 4 cars. That's our first number. And it says how many tires to get 4 cars. Well, we need to know how many tires one car has first. That's going to be our other number. So how many tires in one car? 4. And 4 times 4 is 16. So we need 16 tires in order to get these 4 cars ready to drive. Number 7 says 4 laps around the track is equal to 1 mile. Okay, 4 laps. Sherry ran 6 miles. How many laps did she run? Okay, so if 4 laps are equal to 1 mile and she ran 6 miles, then we do 6 miles times 4 laps per mile. That gives us 24. So she did 24 laps. Okay. The next one says 2 gallons of oil are needed for the monster truck. 2 gallons. How many quarts of oil should the mechanic buy? Well, means she needs 2 gallons. If we want to turn it into quarts, there's 4 quarts in a gallon. So we multiply by 4. And that gives us 8. So he needs to buy 8 quarts of oil. Okay? Okay, we come over here to 15C. And it looks like more skip counting by 4s, more skip counting by 4s, and then this one over here has skip counting by 2s and more skip counting by 4s at the bottom. Okay, over here is the same thing, skip counting by 4. You can just add them and multiply by how many gallons there are. And then over here it says Daniel took 4 pictures every minute. How many pictures did he take in 3 minutes? So 4 pictures every minute, 3 minutes. So it's just 4 times 3, which is 12. And then number 7 says Mary planted 8 bulbs in her garden. 2 years later, each plant had 4 flowers. How many flowers did Mary have altogether? So if there's 8 bulbs, right? And each one of them has 4 flowers. We just multiply these and it's 32 flowers. Okay. And then it says, number 8 says, after making gallons of tomato juice, Sadie found that she had only quart jars to put it in. How many quart jars will she need for the tomato juice? Well, if we have 9 gallons, okay, and we have to put them into quarts, how many quarts equal 1 gallon? 1 gallon is equal to 4 quarts. Okay, 4 quarts. And because of that, we can just multiply by 4. Because in each one of these, there's 4. Okay, and then that gives us, remember, when we're multiplying by 9, what do? We're multiplying 9 times 4. We do 1 less than the number that's being multiplied by 9. So we leave the 9 alone, we go to the other number, and we say, oh, 4 minus 1 is 3, and then 3 plus 6 equals 9. There we go. We have our 36 jars. Okay. We move on over here to 15D, and over here, see, sometimes it's a little tricky like that. We have to figure out, okay, wait a second. What are we skip counting by? Well, we've been skip counting by 4s a lot in this chapter, so maybe it's 4s. Let me see. 4, 8, 12, 16. It checks out. So you just do that, and if the numbers that are already there are checking out when you're skip counting, then you know that you're on the right track. Okay, so that's skip counting by 4s. Then over here we have our fractions again. This is 3 that are shaded, and there's 4 altogether. Over here there are 6 shaded, that should be a 6, and then there's 8 altogether, so that's correct, and so forth. Okay, so the top are going to be shaded, they're going to represent the shaded portion, and then the bottoms will represent all of them, whether shaded or not. Okay, Then over here we just have some more review, some more practice of our multiplication facts. Okay, these are important because these are good to just write them out. I've seen so many people on quizzes and tests get them wrong because they don't write them out and they get confused. So what I like to do is do this. 5k, okay, that's already written for me in the problem. And what I do is I say 5 times what equals 30. Oh, not 36. Sorry. I was thinking about the answer. So I rewrite the question like this because this k is my blank. Okay, and then once I get that down, I can put my 6 because I know that 5 times 6 equals 30. And then I say k equals 6. Okay, that's how you solve that question. Because we're looking for k. It says solve for the unknown. So we have to say at the end, we have to finish like this, saying the unknown is 6. And our unknown is k. That's why they put the letter there, okay? Because that's the one we don't know. If not, we would have a number. But we don't know, so we put a letter, okay? Number 12 is 6a equals 18. So again, I rewrite it. 6 times blank equals 18. 6 times what? 6 times 3 equals 18. So a equals 3. And that's my final answer right there. Okay? That's what I'm submitting for an answer. I don't leave it like this. And I don't just, I don't leave it like this. And I don't just with the equation and the blank. I finish it off like this. And I don't just answer it without doing this part. Because if I just go from here to here, that can confuse me. And then I could put the wrong answer. Okay? Okay, over here it's asking for perimeter and for area. Okay, so remember, look at these equations. Okay, the first one, there's a length of 8 and a width of 6, right? So it has 6 times 8 will give us 48. What's that? That's a small equation. This is a long equation. Okay, the one that's adding is the long one. The one that's multiplying is the short one. Okay, so the long equation will go with the long word. The short equation will go with the short word. Okay, so we know that this is going to be our area because it's a shorter equation. So it's 48. And then our perimeter is the one where we're adding every single side. Okay, so that's our longer one, and that's 28. Okay. So the same thing would be here because we would do 10 times 10 for the area, just 2 numbers. But for perimeter, we would do 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10, which is 40. Okay? Okay, number 19 says, Amy placed 2 rings on each of 4 fingers on her left hand. How many rings is Amy wearing? So if she placed 2 on 4 fingers, then it's just 2 times 4. Each one of her 4 fingers has 2 of them. And that's 8. Okay. Number 20 says 4 gallons of punch are needed for the party. 4 gallons of punch. The ingredients for the punch are all sold in quart containers. Okay. There's 4 gallons. There's 4 quarts in each gallon, so we just multiply by 4 so that we can turn it into quarts. How many quarts should be purchased? 16 should be purchased. Okay? Okay, now we come over here to 15E. And like I said before, you try to put something in there, okay? And you say, oh, are we still counting by 4s? 4, 8, oh, no. 2, 4, nope. 3, 6, 9, 12. Oh, that's the one. We're counting by 3s, okay? That's how you do that so that you can make sure you write the correct answers. And over here, it's the same thing. The shaded part goes at the top, and the total amount goes on the bottom. Okay. And here's some more multiplication facts practice. And then we have these again. Rewrite them. Remember, rewrite them. So important to rewrite them. Okay. And if you don't rewrite them, it's really annoying and time consuming and you just don't want to do it, then at least check your answer, okay? Because this is supposed to be your y over here. So you come here and you say, okay, if it's 0, then 0 times 9 should equal that 0. Then 5 times 7 should equal that 35. Then 9 times 8 should equal 72. 9 times 9 should equal 27. That one's wrong, it does not. Okay, so that would be 9 times 3 would equal 27. And if this was rewritten, then that would be correct. Okay, so I know that it can be time consuming to rewrite, but if you get in the habit of it, it honestly becomes faster, and then eventually you won't have to rewrite them because you'll be faster at it, okay? Okay, the next one says find the perimeter and area of each rectangle. So when I start doing these, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what the area is or what the perimeter is. How do I figure it out? I'm confused. Okay, well, we have our sides over here, and we say, okay, well, one of them you're supposed to add all the sides, and that looks like this. Yeah, something like that. And then the other one, you only have to multiply 2 sides, length and the width. Area spelled like this, area. Okay. Oh, that's a short one. And perimeter spelled perimeter. Oh, that's a long one. So the short one goes with the short one, and the long one goes with the long one. Okay. So then 7 times 3 would be our area, which is 21. And 7 plus 7 is 14. 3 plus 3 is 6. And 14 plus 6 is 20. So our perimeter would be 20. Okay? Try to think of it that way. Area is a short word. It has the short equation. And perimeter is the long word, and it has the long equation. Okay, we'll move on from that to 19. 4 flies walked up the wall. How many feet were strolling on the wall? Flies have 4 feet. There was a debate about this in class, where some people were like, no, flies have 6 feet. I say they have 4, but I don't, you know, I didn't look it up, but I think it's for the book. We're really working on our 4s, so I'm going to say 4. So 4 feet were strolling on the wall. 4 flies were walking up the wall. How many feet were strolling on the wall? So 4 flies times, wait, no, they have, yeah, they have not 2, they have 4 feet. Okay, then that would be 16. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. And then number 20 says, Peter threw, yeah, they do have 4 feet, you guys, they really do. Peter threw a ball 4 yards, okay? Arnold threw it 6 yards, and Jerry threw it 9 yards. How many feet did they throw the ball in all? Okay, change each distance to feet and then add. See, it gives us that little, the little hint in parentheses. See right there? Those are the little parentheses, and it says change each distance to feet and then add. Yes, we cannot just add them as is. We have to change them so that they are all in the same measurement. And since the question is saying how many feet did they throw the ball, then we know that they all have to be in feet. We can't do it in yards. It has to be in feet. So that's what we're changing it to. So Peter threw a ball 4 yards. 4, okay, I'll put Peter, P for Peter. Peter threw it 4 yards. So 4 times 3, because there are 3 feet in a yard, is 12. So he threw it 12 feet. Arnold, okay, we'll put A for Arnold. He threw it 6 yards. And again, 1 yard equals 3 feet. So we multiply by the 3 and we get 18 feet. So that's how many feet Arnold threw the ball. And then Jerry threw it 9 yards. So we'll put G for Jerry. And he did it 9 yards. And again, 1 yard equals 3 feet. So we multiply by 3, and that is 27. Okay, now what can we do? we can add all of that because they're asking us how many feet did they throw the ball in all. So we're going to add up all of their things. If we look for the first two of the first numbers that we can see that make a 10, it makes it easier. So 2 and 8 make a 10. So that's 10 plus the 7 is 17. Okay, and then we'll do 2 plus 2 is 4, and then 5. So they threw the ball all together 57 feet. Okay, so okay, that's good. Move on to 15F, and it's very similar review here where we have our skip counting at the very top. We have skip counting by 2, 4, 6, 8 over here, and then at the bottom it's by 5s. And then we just have more multiplication fact review there. And then over here we have some more of these. Solve for the unknown. Okay, remember, rewrite them. If these give you a hard time, if they don't, and you feel like you're pretty confident, you don't want to rewrite them, just at least check your work. Whatever your answer is that you get, whatever you think x equals, you have to do 63 times the number that they actually give you, and see if that gives you this equals to number. So like over here they said 6 is 6 times 3, 18. Yep, it sure is. So that checks out. So do that to make sure that you're getting the right thing. Okay. And then, okay, we already went through perimeter and area. We're going to go down to number 19. 1 week has 7 days. Okay. How many days are in 4 weeks? So if we have our 7 and we have our 4 weeks, because there are 7 days in 1 week. Okay, and then they're saying how many days are in 4 weeks. So we just have to multiply. Okay, so 7 times 4 is 28. So we know that there's 28 days in 4 weeks. Okay, then we go to number 20. Number 20 says Kelly bought 3 quarts of orange juice, 7 quarts of apple juice, 2 quarts of cranberry juice, and 5 quarts of grape juice. How many pints of juice did Kelly bring home? Okay, so there are 2 pints in 1 quart. Okay, so we know that. So that's our first thing that we're gonna write down because we know that that is the case. Okay. Okay, so we know that there's 2 pints in a quart. And now we know that there's, she bought a bunch of quarts of all kinds of juice. But what's the question asking? How many pints of juice? They're not asking how many pints of, cranberry and grape juice, and then how many pints of apple. They're just saying all together, how many pints of juice all together. So what we're going to do is first, we're going to find out how many quarts of juice all together did she buy. So we have 3 plus, that's a funky looking 3. Okay, so 3 plus, those are the orange juice, plus 7 apple juices, plus 2 cranberries, plus 5 grape juices. Okay, and then as you know, this is my style. I like to do this, just add them this way. Okay. So this is 7 plus 3 is 10, 2 plus 5 is 7, and then 10 plus 7 is 17. Okay, so we know that all together, this is how many quarts. Okay, this is how many quarts of juice she has all together that she brought home. But they're not asking us how many quarts did Kelly bring home. They're saying how many pints of juice. So now we have to take this because we know that there is 2 pints in 1 quart. And we have to multiply by 2, okay? Because this is quarts. We multiply by 2 to get to pints. There you go. Okay, so this is easier if we just stack them. So instead of putting it this way, you can do 17 times 2, and then this is 14. Okay, and then this is 2 plus 1 is 3, so it's 34. Or this is another way that if you want to do some mental math, you can do 17 times 2, and you can do 7 times 2 is 14, and then 2 times 1 is 20, so then this is 34. So that's the way you can do it in your head if you like mental math. But if not, this is fine as well. Okay. All right, and we are all done with chapter 15. On to 16.